Don?
I'm so honored, Max, and honored for you and now having me here tonight. What a glorious night it is, and remembering something that happened 40 years ago in my life. It's nice to be remembered, and I appreciate it very much for what you did.
Try to get it framed a little better here. Yeah, this is much better. You see, look, tell us about the book that's coming out and the amazing chapter that you're talking about.
Okay, well, the book is called The Promoter: Sex, Drugs, Rock and Roll, 1965 to 1978. One of the chapters that we're showing right now to publishers is called What's Worse Than a Nightmare, November 9th, 10th, and 11th, 1969. Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young in Santa Barbara on Sunday the 9th. Rolling Stones I produced in San Diego on Monday night, Rolling Stones in Phoenix on Tuesday nights. I had riots every night. We had troubles. Then we got raided in the police at the Holiday Inn in Phoenix because they thought I was doing shows so that I could have purveyors go through the stands and sell drugs to the kids, not knowing, Phoenix was a very conservative time period then. Let's put it this way, Nazis were liberals to them in those day and age.
You did Pink Floyd concerts. Tell us about a Pink Floyd concert.
Pink Floyd was great. I did 2 shows at Anaheim Stadium over here, 70,000 people a night. It was a fabulous, fabulous night. 2 nights, I should say. That was during the Animals tour, so we had gigantic 50, 60-foot animals, pigs and stuff that we flew out over the audience, and of course everybody's on acid, so to them it was real. It was flying pigs. You remember those days? Yeah, I still see flying pigs. I think you got the wrap up. That was in the good old days when this was all LSD land. Yeah.
And there are, and I've been warning. So what's the title of the book? All
right, the book's called The Promoter: Sex, Drugs, Rock and Roll, 1965, 1978. It tells the whole story of the birth of psychedelic rock, starting right here at Beatles on Hollywood, going all the way through California Jam, 350,000 people in 1978, where Aerosmith, which was my headliner, said they weren't going to go on because somebody forgot to take the black jelly beans out of their 2 pounds of jelly beans. And we had the biggest fight in the world. They did go on, by the way, but it was a bummer for me.
What? Tell us about Ritchie Blackmore taking rock and roll liberties and blowing up the stage.
Well, that was Cal Jam 1. In order to, the set before him was Ozzy, and actually Ozzy could speak English in those days. You actually could understand him, Ozzy did the most fabulous set I've ever seen in my life. No pyrotechnics, it was during the daytime. No lights, no pyro, no special effects, just rock and roll. Ritchie then decided that he wanted to outdo Ozzy. It goes back to English pub days, as you probably know. And they wanted to blow up one of the ramps, and so they used gasoline, and the gasoline exploded, almost blew up the whole stage, including Ritchie. We had a major big fight afterwards, him and I. I'm still pissed off at him, by the way, if he watches your show.
Now, Hart, what was Hart's career doing when they finally made it to that Cal Jam 2?
Oh God, Hart was so great. The girls were so beautiful then. They were much younger than they are now, I still to this day regret something that happened, which was they really deserved an encore. They did the very best set there was, but I had about 20 kids climbing up the light towers. So I had to cut their encore and have 350,000 people boo these kids down from the light towers because the towers each one of them held 6 Super Trooper lights, and you know what they weigh. They weigh about a ton each. It would have been absolute carnage on the ground. So I had to cut their encore. I still feel bad to this day about it.
Any other, let's see, what are the other bands? How about the Eagles? What was their career doing? How was their career? Where were they at in their career when they did the California Jam 1?
They got paid $10,000 for the show. They just had one hit, which was
I did it one time.
Their first song with Cool Easy. What was it? The country rock song. And they had Jackson Browne playing piano as a extra musician that day. And of course now, as you know, their Greatest Hits album is the largest selling album in the history. So they've done quite well since then. they make over $1 million a night, and they don't need none of us anymore.
How about your friend Peter Rivera from Rare Earth? Could you embellish your relationship with Peter, and what was it like doing a California Jam with Rare Earth?
Well, Rare Earth was one of the opening bands. In fact, was the opening band at the time. Even though I was a great fan of Peter and of Rare Earth, I went and saw Peter last year up in Santa Cruz. He was playing with the classic rock and roll all-stars with Mike Panera and Corbett from Green Eye Lady. Green Eye Lady who did, come on, lovely Green Eye Lady. Anyway, and another one of the guys, and it was great seeing him. You know, the only problem is we're all getting old, and it makes me feel funny when I look at them because I know I'm that old too. I looked out at the audience watching them at the boardwalk in Santa Cruz. This is just last summer. And it was just all old folks, gray hair with their grandkids, and the kids were digging on all the hit records. Because Mike Panera played both with Iron Butterfly, with Loose Image, you know, and so you had those bands. You had Rare Earth songs. You had Green Eye Lady, and I'm so sorry I can't remember the name of the band.
You've also produced Evel Knievel's Snake River Canyon Jump. What was that like?
That was a nightmare. It was 6 months of my life dealing with the most.
Oh, can you set it up like say Evel's name, like working with Evel Knievel in the Snake River Canyon?
Yeah, working with Evel Knievel in the Snake River Canyon Jump was probably one of the worst times of my life. It was the biggest event in history, as you know, at the time. The largest TV audience in the history at the time. And he didn't make it across, as you know. The wind blew him back, and I thought he was drowned, but unfortunately he lived. But he did just pass away a few months ago, and my dad said never speak ill of the dead. So, Evel, rest in peace.